You're standing in an elevator with one person you've never met. Nobody says anything. You both watch the numbers climb. There's a low, specific tension in the air that neither of you would ever name out loud. A kind of careful stillness, a heightened awareness of the body 2 feet away from you. Nothing is wrong. There's no threat. And yet, some part of you is quietly, almost imperceptibly, on alert. You feel a faint version of this dozens of times a day. In line at the store, on a crowded train, passing someone on an empty street at night. We call it shyness, or social anxiety, or just being awkward. But what's actually happening is far older than any of those words. Your body is running an ancient calculation about a category of human it almost never had to face: the stranger. Here's a fact that reframes everything. For 300,000 years, your ancestors barely met strangers at all. They lived in bands inside a wider community of around 150 people. The number the anthropologist Robin Dunbar found the human brain was built for. Within that world, you knew everyone. You knew their parents, their moods, their history, whether they could be trusted. An unfamiliar face was not an everyday event. It was rare, and it was significant, because a stranger could mean one of only a few things: a potential mate from a neighboring band, a possible ally, or a genuine threat. Disease, violence, competition for scarce food. In a world without police, without law, without any institution to protect you, meeting someone you didn't know was one of the most genuinely high-stakes moments a human could experience. So your brain evolved a dedicated response to it. When you see an unfamiliar face, your amygdala, the same threat detection system that fires at whispers and sudden movement, quietly activates and runs an instant assessment before you've consciously decided anything. Friend or danger, in group or out. This happens in milliseconds, beneath awareness, every time, and you can watch it appear in humans before we can even speak. Around 8 months of age, almost every baby on Earth develops what psychologists call stranger anxiety. A child who was happy in anyone's arms suddenly cries when an unfamiliar person reaches for them. No one teaches this. It shows up on schedule, across every culture studied, because it's not learned. It's installed. It's the moment the ancient stranger alarm comes online, and a version of it never fully switches off for the rest of your life. Now here's the problem with modern life. You don't meet a handful of strangers in a lifetime anymore. You meet thousands in a single day. You walk through a train station, and your threat detection system is firing, quietly, hundreds of times an hour. Friend, danger, friend, danger, at people it will never resolve, never get to know, never file away as safe. The system was built to assess a rare event and then settle. But it can never settle, because the strangers never stop coming. Quick question while this is in your head. Comment the city you live in, because the bigger the city, the more of these unresolved micro-alarms your body absorbs every single day. And I'd bet the most exhausted replies come from the most crowded places. Your nervous system is doing in one morning what your ancestors' systems did across years. This is why a crowded commute can leave you drained in a way that has nothing to do with physical effort. It's why some people feel a wave of relief the moment they close their front door. It's not weakness. It's an ancient surveillance system that was designed to run occasionally, now forced to run continuously, with no off switch and no resolution. And it's why the strangers who make you most uneasy are often the ones you're closest to physically, but socially blank on. The silent elevator, the shared armrest, the person standing just behind you. Proximity without familiarity is exactly the condition your alarm was built for. Your body reads closeness as significant, and the absence of knowledge as a question that needs answering. 2 feet away and a complete unknown is, to your nervous system, a small unsolved problem. There's something almost tender hidden inside all of this, though. The same system that makes you wary of strangers is the system that made human cooperation possible in the first place. Because your ancestors who could quickly read an unfamiliar face, who could tell, in a glance, threat from ally, were the ones who could safely expand their world beyond the band. Trade, alliance, new bloodlines. The careful, slightly nervous attention you pay to a stranger is the exact instrument that let our species build networks larger than any other primate ever managed. Your discomfort is the residue of the most important social skill humans ever developed. The ability to meet someone you've never seen and decide, fast and well, whether to open or close. If that idea reframed something for you, the like button genuinely helps. This find the people standing in their own silent elevators right now. Because here's what no one tells you. The next time you feel that low tension near a stranger, the slight stiffening, the careful eyes, the relief when they leave, you are not malfunctioning, and you are not antisocial. You are running a piece of machinery calibrated across thousands of generations for a world where an unknown human was one of the rarest and most consequential things you could encounter. The modern world has simply flooded that machinery with more strangers in a week than your ancestors saw in a lifetime, and then told you that your tiredness afterward is a personal flaw. So the next time the elevator doors close and it's just you, and someone you'll never know, pay attention to the quiet hum your body makes. That hum is hundreds of thousands of years old. It kept your ancestors alive in a world where the wrong stranger could end you, and the right one could change everything. You're carrying that same alarm through a world built entirely out of strangers, and the fact that you survive it every single day without ever once snapping at the person beside you is its own quiet kind of miracle. In the comments, where do you feel it the most? The elevator, the line, the late night street, the packed train? Name the specific place your body goes on alert. Read the replies after you write yours. Almost everyone names the same few, and the recognition is the whole point. Subscribe if you want to keep finding the parts of being human that no one ever taught you to notice. The next one is going to point at something you've felt your whole life and never had a word for.